Hello darlings and welcome. I'm Lisa and this is 26 different ways to draw a letter, the show that is presented to you by Secura. A quick reminder before we dive in, okay? This show is in real time and it's doodly and playful. And it is that for a reason, because if you stop taking lettering so seriously, like you tone down on the standards you have or the goals you want to achieve or how serious business this is, because it's not, right? So if you tone down the seriousness, you leave a lot of room for joy and relaxation. And that is the best soil if you want creativity to grow. So my advice is you ditch perfection and whatever standards, high standards you're having, and just view this as your playground. A bonus, however, is that if you draw letters a lot, even if they're funny, weird looking, doodly letters, you will upgrade your muscle memory. You will get a new vision of what letters can look like, and you will see letters much more than you notice them now. And that is a really, really, really good thing if you want to continue, explore, and develop your own lettering. So, we do this for fun, but it has a great benefit in the end, okay? So today, we're going to do the letter T. Grab your pens, whichever you feel like, and download and print the practice sheet or grab a piece of paper of your own choice. And let's make 26 different versions of the letter T.
Okay then, microns size 8 and 10 for the letter T, which is 2 straight lines finally. Oh, how I love that. One horizontal and one vertical, right? So obviously we're gonna start with changing that scenery a little bit, making the vertical line a little bit bent and curvy, almost like a boomerang or a Nike swoosh. And I have to do something similar, not quite similar, but something, yeah, almost similar with the top or the horizontal one. Tweaking it a little bit, filling it in to avoid any confusion. Now, looking at this T, it could almost be a J too, right? It's dangerously close to that. Now that there are a lot of other T's coming up next to this one, everyone will be able to see that it's a T. And the same thing goes if you write it in a word, because then the letter or the brain will try to make sense of the word, determining whether this would be a T or a J. So you always have some help from the neighbors when you're drawing letters in terms of how to interpret the letter form. Here's a T that is sort of low, and on the other hand, here's the opposite, and I'm turning the paper because it's much easier for me to draw straight lines when I'm drawing them down towards me compared to when I'm drawing them like sideways. Okay, so here is a mushy T that I think I'm gonna just add some extra lines here in the curvy sections. Oops, once more. And now that I'm doing this, you can see that the bottom part, this part, is deeper and not as broad as the other ones, but it's also kind of fun anyways. Now one thing that immediately popped to my mind when I thought about the basic structure of the letter T was a mushroom. Mushroom or chubby, soft, goofy looking T's. Not sure if you ever thought about that, but that's how it is. Now to the opposite once more. No soft lines here, it's the opposite. This is full of pointy, sticky angles and corners, so beware. You need gloves when you're gonna handle that one. Okay, this is a T with a heavy top and a tiny little bottom. It's gonna be hard for that vertical little part to balance the huge horizontal part of the letter. Okay, so here's a T that actually I'm not gonna fill it in. It's gonna look like that. More abstract looking kind of T. And slight curves here. With some almost straight parts of the letter. So you can make a T curvy without having to make it all curvy. This is just curving a little bit, just a little part of it, right? You don't have to like distort the whole letter. You can just do it a little bit. There. And I'm thinking about a T that would have multiple lines in it. 4 or maybe 5 lines. Okay. And we don't have to do the top like all. We can make it a bit curvy, like curvy a little bit. Sorry, just adjusting the light here so you can see the letters that I'm drawing better. Okay, so 5 lines here as well, of course. 2, making sure they don't connect. And this is an excellent exercise for muscle control. Perhaps we can make a T out of splashes. You've seen this kind of letter before. It's just like an organism of, I don't know, or if you have spilled paint on the floor or something like that. So this is supposed to look like really nothing at all, but when you check it out from a distance, you can still see, if you want to, that it's actually the letter T. And adding some extra splashes here. You could also try to fill this one in. I don't have the patience to do that now, I think, but that is a tip for you, because I'd love to see what it looks like if it was all black. It will be much more like a T, I think, when you colored it in. Okay, so T with an almost straight bottom and a curved top. The top almost goes all the way down to the floor. The baseline, I mean. We don't say floor, it's the baseline. But you know what I mean. Okay, huge and steady serif T coming up that is not supposed to be filled in. Let's see if it works. I'm not sure it will, but we'll try. Okay, so here's the basic structure, doing one serif here and another one there. And I'm gonna have to, there, there's a T that is totally unproportional and weird looking. I should have filled it in. Oh, anyways, now we know what it looks like when we don't. Here is a T bordering on a J once more. There. And kind of like this one. T that is not a T, or rather a T that is only drawn by the shades of it. There. There. Yeah. Speaking of shade, T is an excellent and rather easy letter to draw shade on. So I am going to do that with big and long lines here. The trick is to make the lines the same angle and most of all the exact same length, which is really hard, which is why it won't succeed. Ooh. You saw me hesitating there. This is not easy. So the outer shape of the shade, you know, where it ends, that should have the same form as the letter itself. There. And obviously also have to add shades on this part of the letter. Yeah, sort of. Not the best one, but still, it works. Some kinder, softer, and a little bit more subtle serifs coming up. One is here, and then there's this little lump at the end of the T. Okay, I have to tweak this a little bit. You can see that this line in the middle here is way too thin compared to the top of the letter. So I'm going to add a little bit more weight there, and then I'm going to have to fill them in naturally, so to hide the tweaking. And perhaps I should have made the serifs on the horizontal part a bit more clear. But there's no going back now, so I'm just drawing a T in a box. Right. And that might seem stupid, but it's also kind of interesting to see what happens with a letter once you frame it. So, still can't really forget about the first letter that I kind of liked very much. I'm gonna have another go at this one with some more curves. And that is an excellent exercise to pick one letter and try to alter it a little bit to see, you know, if one letter has something, if you write it or draw it and you see that it's actually a very interesting personality to it that you just would like to emphasize more, then that is a perfect situation for learning and for also seeing what happens when you exaggerate some of the characteristics of the letter. Will it be better or not? Sometimes, or very often, you won't know until you actually try it. So this is like, you can see this as a development of the very first letter I did on this page, and also see it as a very good tip for how to become a better letterer. And now on to something completely different. At first I was thinking, if I made a T with a very heavy bottom, like that, yep, then it would almost look like a nose. Okay, that's a weird looking nose. And now we're doing a T that is low, like very low, and I want it to be filled with lines, like that. This is also this is a way of making this T look gray, dark gray, when you don't have a gray pen, but it's also a excellent exercise for your hand, for your muscle control, and for your eye, to try to make the lines even. The negative space between them will remain the same throughout the entire letter. Now, teeter, you know, where I don't have to touch. There. Just because one part of the T is a rectangle doesn't mean that the other part has to be it. So here's a teeter T. Okay. Thinking about that nose I did before. Maybe I can make that one into a, let's see. This will almost look like ears to me. So I am drawing a T that is actually a doggo. A pup, right? A pup T. And there's the snoot. No, one big snoot, of course. There. Okay, it's time for a slightly ornamented T. I'm just gonna thicken in the lines a little bit of this curvy shape and add some simple ornaments in the ends here and there. Right. Okay, a T in one single line with triangle corners. Okay, I'm gonna have to think down and one triangle there and an opposite one there, and now I'm gonna go there, and it's really hard. It's like taking a quiz or something. I think I made it. Yep. And here's one I've been longing to do for a long time. The stem of the T there, and the top goes the same way. It is like an uncontrolled controlled T because the outer shape is regular, but the inside is not. And here's a T, the last one, made out of a square. All you have to do is fill in 2 of the corners, and there's a T for you, the last one of the 26 today. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.